I know it's here somewhere. Finally. Oh, it's time for the doctor. You're listening to Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. Take it away, Doctor.
All right, we're going to look at a product today that I think is going to be pretty amazing for a lot of you. If you're familiar with the old Team Viewer product that we used to all recommend and use until they were bought out by a company that decided to use them for evil, the way I look at it. Let's look at one that is completely free and completely open source and take a look at the advantage of RustDesk. RustDesk. I've got it over here. If I open it up, you'll see that I have a lot of systems available through RustDesk. And you can put in the code for the desktop that has RustDesk installed. And then there is a password, which I'm not going to give you, obviously, the password for it. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go over to this particular Linux box.
The teaching of the Bible.
This is a Linux box running Speak Faith TV, which is our full 24-hour, 365 days a year TV network, but it's running in a browser here. And in that browser, I have the audio running on the desktop, and then that's going to the broadcast using this tool, which is Butt, B-U-T-T. I know.
And I would lay in bed at night.
You gotta love tech people that write these things, right?
Thinking,
anyway,
Jesus, where are we going to get money?
So this broadcasts it to the WFR Speak Faith TV audio station. So that's why I use it to connect RustDesk to connect to it and see what's going on there. So let's close that out, and then let's go to a different computer that I have on the network here. This is one that has a ton of icons on the desktop. As you can see, it tells you that I've connected. So if you were sitting on that desktop, you'd see that I connected to it. But this is not one that I use. A friend of mine uses it. But this is actually running as a virtual machine on Hyper-V in my network. And my buddy Harold, who runs Word of Faith Radio, connects to this machine to do various things and collect audio and so forth. So as you can see, it's as simple as clicking on the boxes that you have out there. Now here's an interesting thing. Let's go to drbill.dt. That's the desktop in my computer room. And you notice when I go to that, it goes full screen. And whatever I've been doing there, I'm just going to close all this out. This is the Hyper-V instance I was talking about that's running the WFR prod machine that we looked at. If I double click here, you can see it brings up the same screen we saw through RustDesk earlier. So we'll close that out and drop that down. And this is my main screen desktop in the computer room, my computer room, for my desktop machine. So I know a lot of icons on this one too, but this is a very busy machine and a very powerful machine. So that is nice, but you notice how I've got it full screen. It's full screen. I can come up here and kind of hover toward the top. It'll drop down, and then I can put it to full screen. I can minimize it. I can bring it down in size. There's a lot of different things I can do with it. But from sitting here on my desktop in the living room where I'm sitting now, I can connect to this computer. And it's literally just like I'm sitting there. Now let's go ahead and close that down. And I want to show you a couple other things. This software works by connecting to servers at RustDesk, which I'm trying to say that clearly, R-U-S-T, Rust, Desk, D-E-S-K, RustDesk Central, so to speak, where they have their own servers. And you connect to them much like we used to connect to TeamViewer, okay? And as long as you use their servers, which is what I'm doing, you are issued a code number for that desktop and a password, and you can use that, and it's completely secure in that sense. If you want to be even more secure, you can deploy your own RustDesk server, okay? Now, I've done that within the network, and let's go back into RustDesk. And I actually don't remember right offhand if my RustDesk server is up. I don't think it is. No, it's not. Okay, never mind. But the local server was deployed, and I discovered that I had an issue. And it's not an issue with RustDesk. It is an issue with my particular situation. I'm using the port that it wants to use for one of our radio stations. So I can't use my private RustDesk server outside of the local area network here. Okay? So for that reason, I just scrapped it. I even unplugged it. It is a NUC, a little NUC, and I had it running as a RustDesk server. But you could deploy it. You could deploy it in the cloud. You could deploy it at Linode, which, by the way, if you want to connect to a system and deploy it outside your LAN, I highly recommend Linode. Okay? And right here on the lower third, you can see that we have an offer for you this week for Linode. Now, it's an amazing offer. You get $100 of Linode services absolutely free just to test it out. So check that out. You'll be amazed at what you can do with Linode. But you could deploy a RustDesk server as a Linode server, for instance. Okay? That's an option. So, I've been, by the way, a user of Linode, and I have several machines out there. And, you know, I pay for that every month because I'm long past my $100 free option. But it's very beneficial for me in some of the stuff that I'm doing. So I think you see the power of RustDesk. Now I'll show you how I have implemented it, particularly in my case. I help a lot of people. I'm going to go in here and go to my website, drbillbailey.net. Here we go. And what I tell people is if they are working with me on various nonprofit projects that I support, if they go to contact me, you'll see that what I've done is on the website I have implemented a button. There we go. This says download RustDesk. Okay, and they can click on that button. When they do, it will download rustdesk.exe, which will allow them to install it on their local computer. And that way, I can support them remotely through RustDesk. Now, I don't do that for everybody. Don't start asking me if I can do that for you. You that are watching this program are techies, okay? You can support it yourself. But I have several people that aren't as technical, let's put it that way, that I help them, and it's very few number. But it's handy to be able to just direct them to that link on the website to get RustDesk. Now, I'm going to go back into the browser here and type in Open Source Virtual Remote Desktop Infrastructure for Everyone. You can download the 64-bit Windows version. You can get the 32-bit. They still make it. You can get a portable 64-bit version that does not have to be installed. You just run it, and there it is. For Windows, Apple, Ubuntu, Android, which means you can put it on your Android phone, which is what I've done, which is very handy to be able to get into various things. iOS, if you got an Apple device, bless your heart. It's available for iOS as well. And you can do a lot of things with this software. Now, again, this is open source. It is free, and it's available on GitHub. You can go right over here to GitHub and go to the project and see all about it. Don't you love open source? I tell you, this is awesome. So, we occasionally have programs that we call Geek Software of the Week. Well, this is the Geek Software of the Week and the month and maybe the year. This is a big deal, okay? And so I wanted to show it to you, and I trust you found it interesting. Remember, until next time, the doctor is out of here. Dr. Bill, the Computer Curmudgeon, is a production of DrBillDaily.net with all the honors, rights, and privileges thereunto appertaining. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ding the bell to be notified of future videos.